I've talked about a lot of shows here on this channel as well as over on the website, but there's always one show that I never really fully got around to ever discussing in length, and I think mostly because everybody that has seen the show that I'm about to talk about here doesn't really need to hear it from just me that this was a great show, and that was, of course, Community, which is a show that ran on NBC for about 4 years, and then it spent its last couple of seasons on Hulu. It was one of those shows that was mostly centering on, the other story about these people in a community college in Colorado, led by Joel McHale, and then you had characters played by Jillian Jacobs, Danny Pudi, Yvette Nicole Brown, Allison Brie, Donald Glover, Ken Jeong, Jim Rash, and also Chevy Chase. And it was a show that was using a lot of meta humor, pop culture references, paying homage to film and television cliches and tropes. It was created by Dan Harmon, who of course would later go on to create Rick and Morty. And needless to say, Rick and Morty has become the more successful show of the two. But in terms of the best show overall, Community is probably the best overall show that this guy has ever done. And there were a lot of great episodes, especially in the first couple of seasons. And the best one in terms of the holidays is Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas, which was the second season holiday episode 11, first broadcasted on December 9th, 2010 on NBC, with a script by Dino Stamatopoulos, who also created More Oral, as well as Dan Harmon, is also directed by Duke Johnson. And the story of this is that it's Christmas time at Greendale Community College, and Abed is seeing everything and everybody in stop-motion animation form, giving him the idea that this is the most important Christmas ever, and that the group must relearn the true meaning of Christmas. The rest of the gang gets worried, and with the assistance of Professor Duncan, played by John Oliver, try to help Abed with the situation by having a therapy session in which Abed and the gang travel to a Christmas wonderland to find the true meaning of Christmas and have that rest of the box as different Christmas characters, such as Jeff as a jack-in-a-box, Britta as a robot, Troy as a total soldier, Shirley as a baby, Annie as a ballerina, and Pierce as a teddy bear. The episode itself is a homage to the classic Rankin Bass holiday specials of old, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, The Year Without a Santa Claus, among many others we've talked about on this show. And the entire episode is an homage to those classic specials and is in full stop motion. What makes this the best Christmas episode of all time? Because I really do think this is the best Christmas episode of all time, and one that I watch every single year, is that it's a great, heartwarming story that manages to find that perfect balance of both very funny comedy and some really good drama that you would find in a television show like this. I mean, the show does a very good job of balancing out these two different forms of entertainment and putting it together into one very nice package here. There's also a lot of great laugh-out-loud moments in the episode, the type of comedy you expect to see from Community. Smart meta humor used to great comedic timing, and at that emotional pull that the episode goes for works incredibly well. There's a great backstory behind the therapy session that, when it finally comes to that point at the end, the payoff is perfect, and it tugs at your heartstrings to see the impact that happens with Abed. And I'm not going to spoil what it is, but you really need to see what happens, and it just works very well. I think it's a very, very solid piece of entertainment overall. It's the perfect holiday episode, and it's one that I watch every single year. It's definitely up there with some of the great Christmas classics out there, and I watch it once every year, and it's definitely one that, even if you've never seen Community, it's definitely one you want to check out. If you love the old school Rankin Bass specials, then Abed's Uncontrollable Christmas is one that you really need to experience for yourself, because it's definitely worth a watch. I highly recommend checking it out.